So, the internet, it's been around for 30 or so years now. You guess you could say it's only come into really common use in the last 15, 20 years, and if you're willing to count the ARPANET, then you could say it's existed for going on 50 years now. I'd argue that as a piece of technology, it's changed our society more than any piece of technology invented since the steam engine, way back in the late 1700s. But yeah, so it's kind of very important. We use it for a lot of things. You could go on Amazon.com to buy things. You can go on other sites to buy more specific things, but the only big convenient one's Amazon. But besides the point, you can go on Wikipedia to find information. You can go on other sites to find information. It's more reliable than Wikipedia as well. So that's also a thing that exists. It's all you can people and then people go onto YouTube and search for entertainment. But one of the most common uses for internet, for not for internet, for the internet, is for socializing. Like people will go into live stream chats and chill, and they'll say shit, and people will go. That's a thing. People go around, post shit on Twitter and Facebook. They say all that stuff. People will go onto online forums like Fandom and Reddit, and they chill in those social spaces. That's one of those common uses for the internet. A place where you can go and chill with people from all around the world. You know? However, people often say online socializing is bad because something to the effect of online relationships aren't real relationships, or it's just not the same, or in X number of decades we could be unable to meet face to face, typically said in a very poetic way or through a story. For instance, Bradbury's The Pedestrian, which is a story where technology's taken over and now everyone's all alone at home looking at TVs and such. Yes, my English teacher said something dumb about it, and that's what gave me the idea for this video, although I do think it is a more widely expressed sentiment than just what they said and how they were trying to put this context of the story into compared to modern times. I do think it does represent a more widely spread sentiment than just that. Anyway, some say that it's bad because you can't pick up on social cues, which may be true and even a deal breaker for some, but bluntly speaking, my autistic ass struggles to pick up on those anyway. Ultimately, the thing is that for people with autism, such as myself, as well as various other forms of anxiety or other social disorders, the internet can be a more inviting place because IRL social groups tend to be pretty hostile to new people just casually entering them, meaning that to enter one of them, you must have to fall in through some Machiavellian game of chance, whereas online, it's perfectly normal to just find a social space that suits you and assert your presence. Just go in and start being there, you know? Additionally, online, one has much more control of how they present to others, which can be used for unscrupulous purposes, but it also protects one from unjust judgment, and thus the fear of unjust judgment. For example, I'm trans, but you wouldn't know that and just judge my opinions on it and judge me as a person on it until I've told you. And also, in addition, it's just plain fun. Like, it's silly fun. Like, yeah, online I present as a cartoon otter. It's fun, I guess. Cool. You know? Also, pen pals are a thing, and for any younger Zoomers or older Gen Alphas watching this, a pen pal is this thing that existed back in the day where it's like, they still exist now, but it's kind of, from what I understand, a bit of a boomer thing, where it's basically, you have a friend who's way across the country or in some other part of the world, and you maintain contact by sending letters back and forth, and those are considered real friendships, in spite of the fact you don't see face to face. You only hear from each other every several months, and you only hear from each other in the form of words. So why aren't people you interact with on a forum repeatedly considered real friends at that point? This all isn't to say online socializing is better, period, than the IRL kind, but in fact, just to say it's valid, because ultimately, this whole discussion stems from gatekeeping due to fear of change. And this is my problem with the study of English. Yes, this is turning to a hit piece on a school subject now. That whole thing I was saying earlier about how this was inspired by a dumb thing my English teacher said is coming back full circle now. Haha. Look, English is fine as an expressive art. I'm rather a fan of it as such. but far too many people use it to make bullshit arguments seem intellectual and worth taking seriously because they dressed it up in some fancy language or story that one has to put effort into understanding and knowing how to understand, so it's much harder to call out the bullshit argument as bullshit, and the reason why it's bullshit is because when you finally boil it down for all of those for all the fancy symbolism and similes and metaphors, it ultimately comes down to a blind assertion fallacy. Or, more accurately, it most often boils down to a blind assertion fallacy. Sometimes it boils down to an appeal to emotion fallacy or hasty generalization, or actually, now that I think about it, you get quite a lot of times when you have false dichotomies that this boils down to, or a false conflation that it ends up boiling down to, but ultimately, a fallacy's all the same. Again, that being said, I more than enjoy it as an expressive art, and I do think it is valid as such. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, I've just finished editing the new video, and yeah, so that's good. This was initially a random idea I had a couple days ago that I just decided to say into a microphone for a bit, and then it's like no, but it was like it came out. I came out presented really badly, like really. It's just I did not do a very good job of conveying the arguments at all, so I rewrote it out, wrote it out properly, in fact, and then I read it out somewhat scripted as opposed to wholly off the cuff, and in this case at least, it came out much better, much more coherent, my points were better. I think I did a much better job of it the second time around, and yeah, I made the visuals in the afternoon, it was a good afternoon that I made them, I enjoyed making the visuals, so yeah, that's a good thing and all that. So, things of the production of this video have not gone wrong. Admittedly, it is the latest video yet. It's come out on the last day of the week it was supposed to come out on, albeit still on that week. How long till a video doesn't come out till Monday? Fuck knows. And as for next week, well, I'm still feeling kind of sniffly, but I'm also very motivated to get stuff done today, so expect Jevil the Joker card to come out probably next weekend. Admittedly, like 2 weeks after I initially intended to release it. Lol. And at that, I anticipate it being a fairly long video as well, so that's gonna break the bout of short videos.